firstly, thank you to everyone for having me. And I really enjoyed the previous panel discussion. I think it actually introduces my topic quite well. So thank you for everyone for doing that. And really, my talk is more around my, personal journey. And really my goal is to share with you why I think it's important to, get out of your comfort zone and to do things and not be afraid to not be good at them. Cool. So my opening quote is the one that I've been seeing everywhere online saying a pandemic is a terrible thing to waste, which is kind of great to kind of scare you into, sort of doing something. I heard stories about, Isaac Newton, who invented something during a pandemic as well. And I think it's great for inspiration, but there's just so much that we don't know. Those things being, was he alone? Does he stay with other people? I saw the other day a girl who was having an English class through Microsoft Teams, and her mom came in and was like, shouting at her to wash the dishes. And it was kind of funny, but also not funny. And I think, for a lot of us, that is really our reality. So I just wanted to sort of acknowledge that and say it is really tough to focus right now and to build your skill during this time. And I want to sort of let people know that you're not alone in doing that. But also on the other side, as Zandile said, it's very easy nowadays to contact people. There's no longer those excuses like, someone's out of the country or someone's out of office or things like that. People are at home. So, guys, just connect with them. So just to sort of give a brief overview of who I am, I just turned 24 this year. I'm from a small town in the Eastern Cape called Untitled. So if anyone is from there, please do give a shout out. I went to Victoria Girls High School. And then after that, I went to the University of Cape Town, where I did information systems as my undergrad, as well as an MPhil in fintech. Today, I'm working at Standard Bank. I'm part of a really, really awesome team called Emerging Technologies. And we sort of do like research and development kind of work. We play around with different kinds of, technologies like blockchain, IoT, AI, you name it, more of like the future kinds of projects. And I'm so lucky, to be in that team within the bank. And I just also wanted to show you how there's, lots of different roles within the bank in itself. So that's what I do. We can chat about that another time. And also just to kind of let you know my hobbies, I love reading quite a lot. I enjoy music as well as design. Cool. So when I was in university, I felt like things were years behind. I was a little bored with some of the work that we were doing. And really, I guess the reality is that technology is moving so fast. I wasn't really sure about my path at the time, and I felt I needed a little bit more. So I did a lot of research, reading tech blogs, stalking people online, LinkedIn, and I emailed so many startups, guys. Like I read some of those emails and I'm just like, oh, there's a grammar mistake there, or, why did I say that? But I'm so glad that I actually did that, just shooting your shot, finding that email or finding the HR person and saying, hey, I really enjoy your guys' message. Can I, take part? I'm interested in this. And just sort of not being afraid to send those. Like I also have quite a bit of rejection emails in my mailbox, but the companies that accepted me did quite well. Well, not did quite well, but there are a few who accepted me, and that was great. And I think, people are always willing to help out young people. That's one thing you can take advantage of. And just, while you're studying or while you're in a community where you're learning, it's so important to, be involved in societies, be involved in other things that are happening around you. What are the tech companies or any small businesses that are around you that you can join, you can help out. And it's just like so important to read about things that are outside of your own circle. And that's something that I found. Sorry, that's my Slack. It's because we're so online. It's something that I found made things so much easier and made university really just more fun. So in my hopes to try and do things outside of my circle, I entered into the GirlCode Hackathon in 2017, which was it was really scary for me. It was during the school holidays, and one of the professors sent us an email sharing this with us and said, hey guys, this is going on, come join in. Not many, I think I was the only person to kind of email and say, hey, I'm interested. And then he was like, gather a team together. So I, messaged every other girl in my class and said, hey guys, let's do this. But I had to do, a little bit of begging, which was quite, it's not something that we want. I feel like we should always kind of, be open to take on these new opportunities and things like that. But at the time, hackathons were a little bit scary because they seem so technical and all these things. But fast forward to everything, so we won, and we won a full paid trip to Silicon Valley, where we went together with Uzandile, which was super, super amazing. And I feel like that trip was really an eye opener, for me. And some of the things that I learned during that time is, fear can hold you back. You are your own, own worst enemy sometimes. And you shouldn't be afraid to do things. But I must say, the hackathon has so much support. There were so many people there willing to help. And it's really an opportunity for you to be surrounded with so many great minds. And it's the one time that you can ask all the questions that you want to ask. But also, let's say you have an idea that you just want to, bounce onto someone. It's really a great time to do that. So the next year, I decided to kind of take my own advice again, and I entered into Alignum Labs blockchain hackathon. And my team and I won the hackathon as well. And I must say, like before that, I did not know anything about blockchain. I didn't know how to, develop on the blockchain. I was like, I can kind of see all this stuff with Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency side, but when it comes to really building use cases, I was just so there was a lot that I didn't know, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. It's an opportunity for me to learn. And the nice thing with these things is that they're always during the holidays. So again, my friends and I were a little bit bored, and we decided to enter. But you can see this hackathon was quite different. I mean, look at all the people on that stage. Not to say they're not awesome and amazing, but you know, I was sort of the only, well, you can see it for yourself. And it was quite terrifying, but they did sort of, help in terms of giving you material. They had some lectures. And the nice thing about hackathons is that they actually teach you, give you a bit of tools before you actually hit the ground running. And just to give you a view of like how my team looked like, I was the only developer in the team. There were three of us and my other two members. One person was from a business and finance background, and another person was more from also a business finance sort of kind of background. And really there, I think why we won was the story. We presented an idea called proof of stake, and we wanted to allow people the ability to invest in cattle. Because we understand, livestock so well. We use it for lobola, we use it for investments, and it's an asset that everyone really understands. And we wanted to bring our own use cases onto the space. And I think that's why we really stood out quite well. And I just wanted to sort of use these examples to show you how community events are just so important. And you never know who you'll meet, what new talents you'll discover about yourself. And really, the story, being, staying true to yourself and building products for yourself is quite important. And that experience really taught me that. So overall, I think in terms of the things that I learned by taking part of these hackathons and being in the spaces is the fact that the ability to connect with people is so important. Being able to design unique experiences, and you can only do that by being yourself. Like we have all of these tech products, which are great. I mean, Zoom works very well, that are coming from the States, but all it happens is that they just plugged into our space and, they don't really fit in well, and sometimes things do happen. So really designing things that are unique to us that we can use. Another thing is the ability to communicate ideas effectively. Like for the hackathons, we had to do these pitches where you have to, present your idea in 5 slides. And a good thing, like where you can actually test out if your idea or side project or anything you want to do is good, is if you have maybe siblings, or, your little brother or little sister, or just, some friends to say, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, and just not being afraid to do that. Feedback is so, so important. And then writing as well, being, getting used to writing it down on paper, and just sort of communicating it. Because as techies, I think it's also a skill that we don't really have, but it's so important, so that other people can come in and join in. Being able to work in a team is also very important. And lastly, learning by doing. Like I feel I learned so much by being in the spaces, by being in these spaces. But also just, with the blockchain hackathon, I didn't know anything before. And then afterwards, I had learned so much of the blockchain industry, and I'm still, very much active in the space till today. So I saw this, graph the other day that was taken up by Zen about the resources that developers use to improve their coding skills. Online tutorials are number one, and I have quite a lot of those courses myself. But number two is really side projects. Like side projects can really help because you're actually taking something from an idea in your head to something that is, an actual app that people can use, which is super amazing. Like the joy you feel afterwards is incredible. But also, let's say you have, side projects that are quite big. That's okay. You can always break it down. Maybe you'll say, maybe for the first 2 weeks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build and learn how to build this specific component. Next week, I'm going to do this specific thing. And really over time, you can sort of put all those things together, and then you'll be able to sort of, build this product that you want to do. So I just can't stress enough how just building things and just doing it is really one of the best ways to learn. But from that list, what I found that was missing was, people. I believe that people are really one of the best resources. I mean, look at us here, the GirlCode team. They've made it possible for us to sort of be here today, to connect, to network. But I've been taking notes the whole day about, some tips and tricks, and some of the things that I didn't know myself. So really engaging with people is one of the best ways to learn. And then another thing is just understanding people. You can't really take it's very hard to take the human element out of technology. And I'm really happy that you guys touch on the soft skills that come with this. And I think that's why tech teams are just so diverse. Like, the people who are coming from a design background, from a business background. And that's why we have the arts in, STEAM, because really kind of engaging with humans and understanding them, they're the ones who'll be using your product at the end. So don't be afraid to get feedback from people all the time. Yeah, because as techies, we build products in our own room and we forget that people will use it. And then by the time you're like, ta-da, here's things, I'm done. And it's not really there anymore. So in closing, I have a few questions here, which are you trying new things? Are you looking for opportunities? Are you doing side projects? And, do you have a mentor? Which is really, quite important. And lastly, are you yourself? The best way to take up space is really to be yourself. Your story matters in this tech field, and really just build. You don't suck. You're still learning, and you will get there. Thank you, guys.